Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chet Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Ashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8. Today we are starting new chapter, chapter 10, the battle between the demigods and the demons. So after Lord Vishnu cheated the demons and gave all the nectar to the demigods, and in the process he killed Rahu also. So now the demigods got very angry and they had to attack. The demons got angry, they had to attack the demigods. Text 1. Shri Shukuvacha iti danav dateya navindandramritam nripa yukta karmani yaktascha vasudev parangmukha. Shukdev Goswami said, O king, the demons and the Daityas all engaged with full attention and effort in churning the ocean. But because they were not devotees of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, they were not able to drink the nectar. See, Lord is always going to protect, take side of his devotees. That's for sure. Sadhitva mritam rajan payayitva sukan suran pashyatam sarva bhutanam yayo garuda vahana. O king, after the Supreme Personality of Godhead had brought to completion the affairs of churning the ocean and feeding the nectar to the demigods, who are his dear devotees, he left the presence of them all and was carried by Garuda to his own abode. Because he knew there was going to be a fight and he wanted demigods to fight, but obviously, ultimately, he was going to come rescue them again, as always. So he left that arena. Sapatnanam param riddhim drishtva te ditinandana amrishyamana utpetur devan prati udyata yudha. Seeing the victory of the demigods, the demons became intolerant of their superior opulence. Thus they began to march towards the demigods with raised weapons. Tata surgana sarve sudhya pitya dita prati samyuyudhu shastraher narayana padashraya. Thereafter, being enlivened because of drinking the nectar, the demigods were always at the shelter of the lotus feet of Narayana, used their various weapons to counterattack the demons in a fighting spirit. Tatra deva suru nama rana paramandaruna rodhasyu udanbato rajans tumulo roma harshana. O king, a fierce battle on the beach of the ocean of milk ensued between the demigods and the demons. The fighting was so terrible that simply hearing about it would make the hair on one's body stand on end. Obviously not because of ecstasy or spiritual ecstasy. It is a terrible fight. Tatra anyonyam sapatna naste sarabd manaso rane samasadya sibhirbaner nij dhru vividha yudha. Both parties in that fight were extremely angry at heart, and in enmity they beat one another with swords, arrows, and varieties of other weapons. There are always two kinds of men in this universe, not only on this planet, but also in the higher planetary systems. All the kings dominating planets like the sun and the moon also have enemies like Rahu. It is because of occasional attacks upon the sun and moon by Rahu that eclipses take place. The fighting between the demons and demigods is perpetual. Means it's always happening, nothing new, and will always happen. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be stopped unless intelligent persons from both sides take to Krishna consciousness. So, as Prabhupada, intelligent persons from both sides, from demon side also, they should learn what is the point in fighting. But that time will never come, looks like. Shankhaturya mridanganam bherid marinam mahan asteshwara rathpatinam nadatam nisvano abhavat. The sounds of the conch shells, bugles, drums, bheris, and damaris, kettle drums, as well as the sounds made by the elephants, horses, and soldiers who were both on chariots and on foot, were tumultuous. Rathino rathibhistatra pattibhi sahapattaya haya hayar ibhashchebhe samsajjanta samyuge. On that battlefield, the charioteers fought with the opposing charioteers, the infantry soldiers with the opposing infantry, the soldiers on horseback with the opposing soldiers on horseback, and the soldiers on the backs of elephants with the enemy soldiers on elephants. In this way, the fighting took place between equals. Ushtra kechid dibha kechid dapare yuyudha kare kechid gaura mukher rikshar Dvipibhir Haribhir Bhataha. Some soldiers fought on the back of camels, some on the backs of elephants, some on asses, some on white-faced and red-faced monkeys, some on tigers, some on lions. In this way, they all engaged in fighting. So monkeys also, there were soldiers on the back of monkeys. Wow. So a terrible fight is going on over there. So few shlokas, no purport, so we'll just go to the translation. O king, some soldiers fought on the back of vultures, eagles, ducks, hawks, and bhasa birds. Well, some fought on the backs of Demigods, which can devour huge whales, the fishes. So fight was going on in the ocean also. So it was whole, army, navy, air force, everything was there. Some on the backs of sarabs, some on the back of buffaloes, rhinoceros, cows, bulls, jungle cows, and arunas. Others fought on the back of jackals, rats, lizards, rabbits, human beings, goats, black deer, swans, and boars. In this way, mounted on the animals of the water, land, and sky, including animals with deformed bodies, both armies faced each other and went forward. Wow. So demons were angry. How come they drank all the nectar, and demigods found their new strength because they had the nectar. They drank the nectar. Earlier, before drinking the nectar, before churning of ocean, they had all run away to the Lord, asking for protection. Now they got the strength. And look at all the all the carriers, lizards, rabbits, goats. Wow. O king, O descendant of Maharaj Pandu, the soldiers of both the demigods and demons were decorated by canopies, colorful flags, and umbrellas with handles made of valuable jewels and pearls. They were further decorated by fans made of peacock feathers and by other fans also. The soldiers, their upper and lower garments waving in the breeze, naturally looked very beautiful, and in the light of the glittering sunshine, their shields, ornaments, and sharp, clean weapons appeared dazzling. Thus the ranks of soldiers seemed like two oceans with bands of aquatics. So we only hear about wars on earth. But here the big war is going on between demons and demigods. Varochano Bali Sankhe Swasuranam Chamupati Yanam Vahayasam Nama Kamagam Maya Nirmitam Sarva Sanksham Ikopetam Sarvascharayam Mayam Prabhu Apratyakarayam Nirdesham Drishyam Manam Adarshanam. Asthistastad vimana kriyam sarvana ki dhorvritaha bala vyajana chhatragreh reje chandra ivodaye. For that battle, the most celebrated commander-in-chief Maharaj Bali, son of Virochan, was seated on a wonderful airplane named Vahayas. O king, this beautifully decorated airplane had been manufactured by the demon Maya and was equipped with weapons for all types of combat. It was inconceivable and indescribable. Indeed, it was sometimes visible and sometimes not. Seated in this airplane under a beautiful protective umbrella and being fanned by the best of the charmers, Maharaj Bali, surrounded by his captains and commanders, appeared just like the moon rising in the evening, illuminating all directions. So it was not an aeroplane with some mechanical means of flying where everything is enclosed and you can't even get out. And he had a beautiful protective umbrella and being fanned by the best of the charmers. Wow. Text 19 through 24 again, lots of shlokas. We'll go to the translation. Surrounding Maharaj Bali on all sides are the commanders and captains of the demons, sitting on their respective chariots. Among them were the following demons: Namuchi, Shambar, Bana, Viprachitti, Ayomukha, Dvimurdha, Kalanabha, Praheti, Heti, Ilval, Shakuni, Bhuta Santapa, Vajradanshtra, Virochan, Hayagriv, Shankushira, Kapila, Meghdunduvi, Tarak, Chakradrik, Shumbha, Nishumbha, Jambha, Utkal, Arishtanemi, Triparadhipa, Maya, the sons of Puloma, the Kalyas, and Nivat Kavach. All of these demons had been deprived of their share of the nectar and had shared merely in the labor of churning the ocean. Now they fought against the demigods, and to encourage their armies, they made a tumultuous sound like the roaring of lions and blew loudly on the conch shells. Balabhit, means Lord Indra, upon seeing this situation of his ferocious rivals, became extremely angry. So earlier he was afraid, now he's angry because he had drunk the nectar. Eravatam dikkarinam arula shushrubhe swarat yathasravat pasravanam udyadrim mahirpati. Sitting on Eravat, an elephant who can go anywhere and who holds water and wine in reserve for showering, Lord Indra looked just like the sun rising from Udaygiri, where there were reservoirs of water. On the top of the mountain called Udaygiri are large lakes from which water continuously pours in waterfalls. Similarly, Indra's carrier, Eravat, holds water and wine in reserve and showers it in the direction of Lord Indra. Thus, Indra, king of heaven, sitting on the back of Eravat, appeared like the brilliant sun rising above Udaygiri. So Indra looked like brilliant sun, and Maharaj Bali looked like the moon rising in the evening. So sun definitely has more power. Tasya sanna sarvato deva nana vahadvajayudha lokapala sahaganer vayav agnir varunadaya. Surrounding Lord Indra, king of heaven, were the demigods seated on various types of vehicles and decorated with flags and weapons. Present among them were Vayu, Agni, Varuna, and other rulers of various planets, along with their associates. Te anyam abhisansritya kshipanto marma bhirmatha aveyanto vishanto agre yuyudhur dvandva yodhina. The demigods and demons came before each other and reproached one another with words piercing to their heart. Then they drew near and began fighting face to face in pairs. So they reproached each other, one another. Means the demigods are also using the language This is not very devotional language, but it's a war. So they had to do that. Yoyodvalir Indrena Tarakena Guhuasita Varuno Heti Nayudhya Anmitro Rajan Prahetina. O King Maharaj Bali fought with Indra, Kartikeya with Tarak, Varuna with Heti, and Mitra with Praheti. Yamastu Kala Navhena Vishwakarma Mayena Vai. Shambaro Yuyudhe Twishtra Sabitra Tu Virochana. Yamaraj fought with Kalanab, Vishwakarma with Maidana, Twishta with Shambar, and the sun god with Virochan. So Yamaraj is also fighting. He also must be taking care of all the dead bodies over there. Aparajitena namoche rashvino vrishparvana suryo bali sutera devo banan jeshtha shatena cha rahuna cha tatha soma pulobna yuyudhe anila nishumbha shumbha yordevi bhadra kali saraswini. The demigod Aparajit fought with Namuchi, and the two Ashwani Kumar brothers fought with Vrishparva. The sun god fought with the 100 sons of Maharaj Bali, headed by Bana, and the moon god fought with Rahu. They always have enmity. The demigods controlling air fought with Kuloma, and Shumbha and Nishumbha fought the supremely powerful material energy Durga Devi, who is called Bhadra Kali. Text 32 to 34. Again, we'll just go to the translation. O Maharaj Parikshit, suppressor of enemies, Arindama, Lord Shiva fought with Jamba. Oh, Lord Shiva was also there. And Vibhavasu fought with Mahishasura. Ilval, along with his brother Vatapi, fought the sons of Lord Brahma. Durmarsha fought with Cupid. The demon Utkal with the Matrika, demigoddess. Brihaspati with Shukracharya. So the gurus are also fighting. And Shaneshwara, Saturn, Shani Dev with Narakasura. The Maruts fought with Nivat Kavacha, the Vasus fought the Kalkeya demons, the Vishwadeva demigods fought the Paloma demons, and the Rudras fought the Krodhavash demons, who were victims of anger. So we can only imagine how fierce this fight must be. So evam ajavasura yusurendra dvandven sampatya cha yudhyamana anyam asadya nijadhrojasa jigishva stikshna shara sitomara. All of these demigods and demons assembled on the battlefield with a fighting spirit and attacked one another with great strength, all of them desiring victory. They fought in pairs, hitting one another severely with sharpened arrows, swords, and lances. Bhushundi bhish chakra gadarshtipatisha shakta yulmukha prasparashvadhairapi nistrishabhala parigha samudgarah sabhindi palasya shiransi chichidu. They severed one another's hands using weapons like Bhushundis, chakras, clubs, vishtis, patishas, shaktis, ulmukas, prashas, parashvadhas, nishtrimash, lances, parighas, mudragas, bhindipalas. Don't even know what all these weapons are. Gajasturanga saratha padataya saroha vaha vividha vikhandita nikrita bahur shiro dharangraya chinna dhvajesh vasatanotra bhushanaha. The elephants, horses, chariots, charioteers, infantry soldiers, and various kinds of chariots, along with their riders, were slashed to pieces. The arms, thighs, necks, and legs of the soldiers were severed, and the flags, bows, armor, and ornaments were torn apart. Tesham padaghathar thanga churnita dayo ghanad ulparna uttistatastada renur disha kham dimaning chachadayan nevartata srutibhi paripluta. Because of the impact on the ground of the legs of the demons and demigods and the wheels of the chariots, particles of dust flew violently into the sky and made a dust cloud that covered all directions of outer space as far as the sun. So such a fierce battle was going on. But when the particles of dust were followed by the drops of blood being sprinkled all over space, the dust cloud could no longer float in the sky. शिरोभिर उद्धूत किरीट कुंडल सरब्ध दृग्भि परिदष्ट महाभुज साभरण सहायुध सप्रास्त्रिता भू कर भोर भिर बभौ. In the course of the battle, the war field became strewn with the severed heads of heroes. Their eyes still staring and the teeth still pressed against their lips in anger. Helmets and earrings were scattered from these severed heads. Similarly, many arms, decorated with ornaments and clutching various weapons, were strewn here and there, as were many legs and thighs which resembled the trunks of elephants. So those who like war movies, they should read Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who like politics, action, romance also, emotions, anything, they can read Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very, very graphic details are given here. Kavandhastatra chotpetu patistva shiroakshibhi uddita yuddha doradandar adhavantu bhatan mrite. Many headless trunks were generated on that battlefield. With weapons in their arms, those ghostly trunks, which could see with the eyes in the fallen heads, attacked the enemy soldiers. Oh. It appears that the heroes who died on the battlefield immediately became ghosts, and although their heads had been severed from their bodies, new trunks were generated, and these new trunks, seeing with the eyes on the severed heads, began to attack the enemy. In other words, many ghosts were generated to join the fight, and thus new trunks appeared on the battlefield. Bahilar Mahindram Dashabhis Tribhiravatam Shara Chatur Bhish Chaturu Vahan Neke Naroha Marche. Maharaj Bali then attacked Indra with 10 arrows and attacked Aravat, Indra's carrier elephant, with 3 arrows. With 4 arrows, he attacked the 4 horsemen guarding Aravat's legs. And with 1 arrow, he attacked the driver of the elephant. The word Vahan refers to the soldiers on horseback who protected the legs of the carrier elephants. According to the system of military arrangement, the legs of the elephants bearing the commander were also protected. Wow. Satana patata shaktas tavad bhi shigra vikramaha chicheda nishitar bhalla sampraptan hasan eva. Before Bali Maharaj's arrows could reach him, Indra, king of heaven, who was expert in dealing with arrows, smiled and counteracted the arrows with arrows of another type known as bhalla, which were extremely sharp. Tasya karmotamam viksha durmarshah shaktimadade tam jvalantim mahal kabham hastastham ichanadharihi. When Bali Maharaj saw the expert military activities of Indra, he could not restrain his anger. Thus he took up another weapon known as Shakti, which blazed like a great firebrand. But Indra cut that weapon to pieces while it was still in Bali's hand. Tata shulam tata prasam tatas tomaram rishtaya yad yachastaram samadyad tat sarvam tatchinad vibhu. Thereafter, one by one, Bali Maharaj used the lance, brass, tomar, rishtis, and other weapons. But whatever weapons he took up, Indra immediately cut them to pieces. So In these serials, Ramayana and Mahabharata, they tried to show this fight with the weapons, cutting the weapons to whatever extent they could with the technology available. But here we can read, yes, it was true. This is what was happening, what used to happen in the battlefields. Sasarjatva surim maya mantarthan gatva sura tatah pradurbhut chaila suraniko pari prabhu. My dear King Bali Maharaj then disappeared and resorted to demoniac illusions. A giant mountain generated from illusion then appeared above the heads of the demigod soldiers. Tato nipetu starvo dayamana davagnina shila satang shikharash churnayantyo dvishadalam. From that mountain fell trees blazing in a forest fire. Chips of stone with sharp edges like picks also fell and smashed the heads of the demigod soldiers. Mahoraka samutpetur dandashuka savrishchika singha vyaghra varahascha mardayanto mahagaja. Scorpions, large snakes, and many other poisonous animals, as well as lions, tigers, boars, and great elephants, all began falling upon the demigod soldiers, crushing everything. Yatu dhanyascha shatasha shula hasta vivasasa chindi bhindhiti vadinyas tatha raksho gana prabhu. O my king, many hundreds of male and female carnivorous demons, completely naked and carrying tridents in their hands, then appeared crying the slogans, cut them to pieces, pierce them. Tato mahagna vyomni gambhir parushasvanaha angaran mumuchur vater hatastan yitnavaha. Fierce clouds harassed by strong winds then appeared in the sky, rumbling very gravely with the sound of thunder. They began to shower live coals. Srishto Datyam Sumahan Vahani Shwasan Sarathi Samvartak Iva Tyugro Vibuddha Jinimadha. A great devastating fire created by Bali Maharaj began burning all the soldiers of the demigods. This fire, accompanied by blasting winds, seemed as terrible as a Samvartak fire which appears at the time of dissolution. Tata samudra udvela sarvata pratidrishyata prachanda vatar udadhuta tarangar varta bhishanaha. Thereafter, whirlpools and sea waves agitated by fierce blasts of wind appeared everywhere before everyone's vision in a furious flood. Evam datyar mahamaya lakshya gati bhirine srijyamanasu mayasu vishedu surusanika. While this magical atmosphere in the fight was being created by the invisible demons who were expert in such illusions, the soldiers of the demigods became morose. So when they become this is the beauty of demigods and the soldiers of the demigods. When they become morose, and there is no other way we can get out of or we can win, they just take shelter. Na tat prati vidhim yatra vidurindriyadayo nripa dhyata pradurbhuta tatra Bhagwan Vishwa Bhavana. O king, when the demigods could find no way to counteract the activities of the demons, they wholeheartedly meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator of the universe, who then immediately appeared. This is how much the Lord loves his devotees. It's just, we don't take shelter. We don't pray to him. We don't think of him. Even when we are in trouble, even then we don't. Maybe first we try to take care of the trouble ourselves. Then if no other rescue item is there, then we take shelter. Why not always take shelter of him? That's why Prabhupada has given us perfect procedure. Just chant every day means we are taking shelter of the holy name. Whether we are in trouble, of course, we are always in trouble. In Kali Yuga, what else we can expect? Or whether the trouble is not apparent yet. It means we are in a good situation. Just take shelter. We always take shelter. Oh Lord, you are my only protector. Without you, I'm nothing. And actually, we are nothing. We think my bodily strength, mental strength, financial strength, relative strength, brother strength, friends strength, that can save me. Nothing can save us except the Lord. Sometimes devotees or people think, oh, why bother the Lord with all this? No, this is not bothering. This is relationship. This is relationship. We want to serve him. And he's there to take care of us. People might think, oh, this is a business we are doing. No. This is one of the processes of Sharanagati. We just pray to him. We don't pray to him that protect me. You pray. Whatever you want to do. I am just at your lotus feet. That's all. Whatever. You want to protect me? Fine. You want to kill me? Fine. You do whatever you want to do. But I am not leaving your lotus feet. That's it. Tata suparnas kritangri pallava vishang vasa nav kancha lochana adrishya tashta yudh bahurullasa Shri kostu bhanar dhyakirit kundala. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose eyes resemble the petals of a newly blossomed lotus, sat on the back of Garuda, spreading his lotus feet over Garuda's shoulders. Dressed in yellow, decorated by the coast of gem and the goddess of fortune, and wearing an invaluable helmet and earrings, the Supreme Lord, holding various weapons in his 8 hands, became visible to the demigods. So he showed up, not with 4 hands, in 8 hands, with 8 hands, because he was carrying so many weapons. Tasmin pravishte asura kut karmaja maya vineshur mahina mahiyasa swapno yatha hi pratibodha agate hari smriti sarva vipad vimokshanam. As the dangers of a dream cease when the dreamer awakens, the illusions created by the jugglery of the demons are vanquished by the transcendental prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as he entered the battlefield, indeed, simply by remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from all dangers. And for us, because we cannot even remember him properly, just always chant. Because no control over the mind, but we can chant. Just chant his holy name. He's not different from his holy name, and he is there always to protect his devotees. Drishtam mrite garuda vaham ibhari vaha avidya shul mahino dat kala nemihi Talileya Garuda Murdhani Patad Grihitva Tenahan Ripa Savaha Marim Triyadhisha. O king, when the demon Kalanemi was carried by lions, saw that the Supreme Personality of God had carried by Garuda was on the battlefield, the demon immediately took up his trident, whirled it, and discharged it at Garuda's head. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the master of the 3 worlds, immediately caught the trident, and with the very same weapon, he killed the enemy, Kalanemi, along with his carrier, the lion. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya says, Kalanemi and all other demons were killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, and when Shukracharya, the spiritual master, brought them back to life, they were again killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Shukracharya brought all the demons back to life, but Krishna or the Supreme Lord killed them again. Mali Sumalyati Balo Yudhi Pet Turyam Turya Chakrena Krita Shir Savat Malyavansam Ahatyan Tigman Gadya Handanda Jendram Tava Chiro Achinnar Tarera Nad To Arinadya. Thereafter, two very powerful demons named Mali and Sumali were killed by the Supreme Lord, who severed their heads with his disc. Then Malyavan, another demon, attacked the Lord. With a sharp club, the demon, who was roaring like a lion, attacked Garuda, the lord of the birds, who were born from eggs. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original person, used his disc to cut off the head of that enemy also. Now, this Kalanemi that we read about earlier, killed by the Lord, obviously he got killed by the Lord, so he has to go to Vaikuntha, go back to Vaikuntha. And it is said, the partial incarnation of Kalanemi, two of them appeared in Krishna Leela. One was Kansa and another was Duryodhan. But this Kalanemi, at least the Duryodhan part, or maybe Kalanemi original, he is very close to Balramji. So I had posted, I think, that article, why Balramji is always favors Duryodhan. Kalanemi in the spiritual world, he's an Asura, but he doesn't, in at least in Golok, nobody can present their Asuric pravrittis. So he is very dear to Balramji. He calls Balramji like his father. So Balramji, when he came, then Duryodhan came to perform the pastimes. So Balramji always favored Duryodhan. So that was the reason. So anyway, thus ends the 10th chapter, 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Battle Between the Demigods and the Demons. So we can start the next chapter, still have time. Chapter 11, King Indra annihilates the demons. Shri Shukuvacha, Athosura Prati Uplabdha Chetasa, Prasya Punsa Paryanu Kampaya, Jagrur Bhrasham Shakra Samiranadaya, Tan Stanarane Yar Abhi Samhata Pura. Shukdev Goswami said, thereafter, by the supreme grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Hari, all the demigods headed by Indra and Vayu were brought back to life. Being unleavened, the demigods began severely beating the very same demons who had defeated them before. So this was the supreme grace of the Lord. Vairochanaya samrabdho bhagwan pakashasana udyachad yada vajram prajaha heti chukrushu. When the most powerful Indra became angry and took his thunderbolt in hand to kill Maharaj Bali, the demons began lamenting, alas, alas, now they thought Bali Maharaj is dead now. Vajrapanistamahed tiraskritya purastitam manasvinam susampannam vicharantam mahamrade. Sober and tolerant and well equipped with paraphernalia for fighting, Bali Maharaj moved before Indra on the great battlefield. King Indra, who always carries the thunderbolt in his hand, rebuked Bali Maharaj as follows. So, although Bali Maharaj was using all this illusion, but when the Supreme Lord came, all the illusions were gone. So he appeared in front of Indra. Natvan moda maya bhir mayeshanno jigeshasi jitva balan nibaddhakshan nato harati daddanam. Indra said, "O rascal, as a cheater sometimes binds the eyes of a child and takes away his possessions, you're trying to defeat us by displaying some mystic power. Although you know that we are the masters of all such mystic powers." Arurukshanti maya bhir utsisripsanti ye divam tandasyan yun vidhunomya gyan purva samachpadadada. Those fools and rascals who want to ascend to the upper planetary system by mystic power or mechanical means, or who endeavor to cross even the upper planets and achieve the spiritual world or liberation, I cause to be sent to the lowest region of the universe. I cause them to be sent to another. There are undoubtedly different planetary systems for different persons. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Urdham Gachanti Sattvasto. Persons in the mode of goodness can go to the higher planets. Those in the modes of darkness and passion, however, are not allowed to enter the higher planets. The word Divam refers to the higher planetary system known as Svargaloka. Indra, king of the higher planetary system, has a power to push down any conditioned soul attempting to go from the lower to the higher planets without proper qualifications. The modern attempt to go to the moon is also an attempt by inferior men to go to Svargaloka by artificial mechanical means. This attempt cannot be successful. From this statement of Indra, it appears that anyone attempting to go to the higher planetary systems by mechanical means, which are here called Maya, is condemned to go to the hellish planets in the lower portions of the universe. To go to the higher planetary system, one needs sufficient good qualities. A sinful person situated in the mode of ignorance and addicted to drinking, meat eating, and illicit sex will never enter the higher planets by mechanical means. So only Urdhvam Gachanti Sattostha. So those in the mode of goodness will go to the higher planetary systems. And if by some other means somebody tries to go, Indra has the power. Indra is very powerful. He's a king of the demigods, not an ordinary person. And so he has a power to push down, push out, and push down to the lower regions. He can send them down. So those who said they went to moon, we don't know where did they go. Also, we will read the story of Trishanku. Trishanku was a king, and I'm trying to remember the sage. I'm forgetting his name. Yeah, Vishwamitra. I was thinking Vashishta, but it's not Vashishta. Yeah, Vishwamitra said, I will send you to moon. And Trishanku was very happy. So Vishwamitra, by his power, Tapobal, he tried to send this king to the moon. And Indra sent him back. Indra said, you're not qualified yet to come to the moon. And Vishwamitra said, how in the world? Indra sent him back. So he sent Trishanku back. So Indra, with his power, sent him down. So he is stuck in the middle. He's not up and he's not down. So Indra is very, very powerful. Not an ordinary person. And obviously everything is upper planetary systems come under his control. And he has to make sure, like he's also the director of immigration department there. He has to make sure only the right person can get the visa. So aham durma yinnaste vajren shataparvana shiro harishe mandatman ghatasva gyati bhi saha. Today with my thunderbolt, which has hundreds of sharp edges, I, the same powerful person, shall sever your head from your body. Although you can produce so much jugglery through illusion, you're endowed with poor fund of knowledge. Now try to exist on this battlefield with your relatives and friends. So I think we can stop here because now Bali Maharaj will start speaking nice philosophy so that we can take up tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, what are some ways to understand whether I'm progressing in sadhana or regressing? I mean, how to measure?
Well, do you like to chant?
Yes, Prabhuji.
That means you're making progress.
But equally, sometimes it makes me feel that because it is like an obligatory duty, I need to chant, so I'm chanting. Sometimes I don't even get time to think on that also, that whether I am liking or disliking. Just as a form of my duty I'm doing.
It's okay, as a duty also. We chant, we just chant. Whether as a duty, of course, to come to the level of love for chanting, that is very high stage. But that's a progress. That's all. It's not that you're going to develop 4 hands or something like that. Nothing like that is
going to happen. So you mean to say, I mean, I understood what you said. I mean, time to time, what should we also take some other like additional steps so that we can more introspect about ourselves nicely and understand?
Well, besides chanting, as we know other processes, reading, hearing, serving, those are the other processes.
Yes, Prabhuji. So it is all about, you mean to say, reading, chanting, hearing. If I have that enthusiasm to attend classes and all, that means it is stable. And then if the taste is not there, then I should think on it and then work on it.
Yeah, but how do we develop taste? How do we develop taste?
You're asking.
I'm asking you. Yeah.
It's kind of initially it's a push. I need to push myself, although I'm not really liking. But constant hearing and hearing, it's kind of a like taste. I mean, I'm liking to hear. Then I'm coming regularly. So this is the process I am understanding.
Yeah, the process is, even if we don't have taste, how do we develop taste? By attending? By doing that thing again and again? That's all. There's no other way. We don't get this vaccination that, okay, we got the vaccination, then we'll develop the taste. No. There's no injection, nothing. You can see, hearing. You can go to different speakers. There are so many thousands of speakers. If you don't like here, you can go anywhere. Point is of hearing.
Yes, correct. And I have another one question. That to take any major decisions in our life, it is mentioned that we should consult or to our spiritual master or inform our spiritual master or take the blessings, or we should talk to Lord Krishna and try to understand actually what is good for me, or whether it is the decisions which I am going to take it, whether it is good or bad for me. So this thing is little, sometimes I wanted to understand that how to receive the answer from the God, how to understand it, whether this is good for me or bad for me, what Krishna is trying to tell me.
Well, first of all, I mean, if we try to speak with Krishna, little tough because we are not that pure yet. Even if he gives us some signals, we won't be able to understand. You might, people might, I can't. So, spiritual master, right way, devotees or senior devotees you can speak with. And my personal, I go to Prabhupada.
Now that Prabhupada is physically not present in us, he is there always through books and then.
Well, his murtis are there all over.
Yes.
And he's there in his deity form or in Vigraha form. So just sit and talk to him.
And then how the answer comes, that's where I sometimes don't understand. I mean, through books, through read Bible.
That's up to him. That's up to him. Maybe somebody will come and talk to you on the same topic. Through his books also he can talk. He can come in the dream also, he can talk. He does wonderful things. That's all I know.
Yes.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila.
Seriously, I mean, if you are taking my advice, talk to Prabhupada.
True. I mean, the Sikh has to be very genuine. If the genuine Sikh is there, then definitely through any medium, Prabhupada will reveal the truth.
Whether it is genuine or not, he knows what is going on.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this lovely answer.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hare Krishna. So you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila.